What's up, guys? So, I sold my GT3 a couple days ago, and ironically, I found the best lava orange GT3RS I could find. Carbon ceramic brakes, silver wheels. Carbon ceramic brakes, silver wheels. I just see it right now for the first time. It's getting unloaded. Carbon ceramic brakes, silver wheels, bucket seats, sport chrono, the Porsche dynamic headlights. What else does this thing have? It has everything. Front end lift. Oh my god, I cannot wait for this car. Jeez, it looks so good on the trailer right now. Wow. Thank you, West Coast Exotics. Wow, so I just got off the car, off the trailer. Looks amazing. Wow. Could never go wrong with the 4-liter. God damn. So welcome to my new GT3RS, and my goodness, let me tell you right off the rip here, car is about 2 inches wider. Car is saying it's making 500 horsepower with a little more than 500 horsepower as compared to my previous regular GT3 that was making 475. So they're saying it's making 500, but the head of Porsche, Andrew Prinninger, is saying this thing is making 520. So they said Porsche likes to be modest with their numbers. They're thinking this one makes 520 and a little bit more torque. I don't really know. I'm just going to go with the 500, but let's maybe assume it makes 520. Now, the 4-liter after 8,000 turned into a different sound. It's like a winding sound. It sounds amazing. Previous gen redlined at 9K. This redline's at 8,800. Is that going to make a big difference? I don't personally think so, but you know, maybe there's some car gods out there that are gonna, you know, hound me for it. Oh my god, the 200 RPM is gonna make a huge difference. Now, I'm glad to be back in bucket seats, to be honest. I'm so happy to be back in buckets. I actually realize for my body type, these bucket seats are more comfortable than the comfort seats. I just feel so supported. It's amazing. Next, car is about 2 inches wider than the previous gen. 30% more downforce. They're saying the rear wing is producing 760 pounds of downforce at around 115 to 120 miles an hour. That's a lot of downforce. I was just going about 80 on our freeway over here, and my goodness, you can actually kind of start hearing the air hitting the wing when it's purely dead quiet. PCH is a nice smooth road down here, so you know we were able to hit it real nice. But next thing's next. Steering is a lot lighter. Rear tires are a lot wider. Front tires are a lot wider. Car overall is wider. The track is different. The front suspension setup is different. It has a magnesium roof from the factory. The entire front end is carbon. It has the vents going over the actual front wheel arches. So what happened before is the air would build up there and cause the chassis to start lifting up. Now that those front wheel arches are there, those vents, what happens is when that air starts building up, it comes out of those vents, flows over the body line, and then it allows the car to start sinking even lower to the ground, forcing more downforce on the front end of the vehicle. Along with the other aerodynamic plays like the wing, and then also the side intake vents. You can actually hear the intakes opening and closing at lower RPMs, and when you get on the throttle, when you close the throttle, when the throttle body closes and opens, you can actually hear the intake vents actually, which is so crazy, right by your ears. I'm excited, as you can kind of tell, as this guy cuts me off in traffic. As you can kind of tell, I'm excited because everything feels so good on this car so far. Also, the next thing is the steering wheel. The steering wheel is smaller. It's the newer, updated steering wheel. I feel like that actually makes a big difference. It makes the feel of the car just feel different. Smaller steering wheel feels a little more agile. We'll see in a longer period of time. This car does have the stock exhaust. It's purely stock right now. I'm thinking about doing a JCR exhaust setup on this car. But you know, living down here in Southern California, you know, they love to pull you over for loud exhaust. So I'm gonna have to really think long and hard on the best exhaust setup I want to go down the route of, whether if it's JCR, whether if it's a GMG exhaust setup. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I guess we'll find out. I love this spec. The little orange vents, the bucket seats, the carbon ceramics, the silver wheels. I grew up watching Chris Harris videos, so me doing reviews now on a car that he was reviewing back in 2015 when this was like just about to come out in 16. He was reviewing this at the end of 2015, and you can hear the throttle body there. Yeah, oh my gosh, it's nuts. So he was reviewing this car in 2015, late 2015. I remember watching that video, and that's kind of where my career started too. The engineering world almost was just like 1 or 2 years in at this point, and I was just so excited, you know. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna own a GT3RS one day. And my dream spec was orange with silver wheels, carbon ceramics, buckets. So I looked every day on West Coast Exotics website, and I was looking every day, and this one popped up right before Christmas, 2 days before. And man, I can't believe it. When I took delivery of it today, I was just thinking about everything that it took me to get to this point, you know. And it's truly like a humbling experience. It's just crazy what life can do and where it can put you in different situations with people and friends and people that help you, people that put you on, people that have been there through you, through the ups, through the downs, through everything. So everything else is literally the same on the car. Infotainment's the same. It's not a .2 meaning a 2019, or excuse me, a 2019 GT3RS, which has Apple CarPlay. Don't really care for the CarPlay. I just kind of use it for music. It would be nice to kind of have it though, now that I think about it sometimes, because I was just driving my brother's car when I was visiting my family, and it had CarPlay, and it kind of made things a lot easier. But I think they have an update for this, so we'll have to throw it in the into the navigation system. This car only has about 8,000 miles on it, so two-owner car, always stayed in Southern California, originally from San Diego, bought new down there, so whoever owned this car before took really good care of it, and I look forward to doing the same, you know. And I really am happy that I got this car. I fell in love with the color lava orange. A lot of people are like, oh my god, you got the same color. Well, I mean, a lot of people, nobody really except one person, but people are going to probably say, watching this video, you got the same color as your last car. I love lava orange. I mean, this color looks so good in every light, you know, day, night, cloudy, not cloudy. This color just photographs well, looks good, breaks next. I mean, it's just a beautiful, beautiful color. And I don't know, it's just, you know, I've just loved it. And, you know, when I watched the first launch video of this car, you know, when they were launching it, like, you know, when Chris Harris was doing the review and it was in orange, I was like, oh my gosh, I want an orange one so bad. So now that I have an orange one, a GT3RS, I think this is the grail for me. This has been the grail for me for a very long time, and it's just, I don't know, it's just beautiful and crazy to see how it's happened. Wow, a Bugatti Vance Revving just rolled by me. Holy heck. Welcome to Newport Beach. So I don't know, it's so hard to put into words. I think my GT3 review was saying how this car is so great and amazing, and this one is just that much better. You know, people don't necessarily think that, oh, the GT3RS, is there that big of a difference between the GT3 and the regular GT3 and the GT3RS? There is, you know, from the weight, the wider track, the different front suspension geometry and rear suspension, you know, wider track, so wider front wheels, wider rear, all carbon, everything, 30% more downforce. It's got the 4-liter in it, making a little more horsepower, a little more torque. So it's not like major changes, but it's a lot of little changes that result into major changes. And that's where this car shines. And that's how Porsche does it. Porsche perfects little changes and then puts them all together and makes a great product. And I think that's the thing about, and then the smaller steering wheel to add little interior pieces here and there. But Porsche makes little changes and perfects the product. I kind of signify Porsche in the watch world, because I'm a watch guy. I signify Porsche in the watch world as Rolex. Just perfection in every way, shape, and form. Just everything is form, it's function, it's both. They combine both so perfectly that no other manufacturer can do. I could have bought a McLaren, I could have bought a Lamborghini, I could have bought any car. I've driven every single car besides a hypercar. And honestly, I still come back to this brand because it's that good. And I just can't believe that I actually say that, because in my head, growing up as a kid, before I experienced Porsches, I always liked them. Didn't really care for them because I never drove one, never experienced one, never knew anybody that had one. I had no idea what the ownership experience and etc. would be like. But when I bought my first Porsche, and then I started driving other cars like Lamborghinis, Ferraris, McLarens, man, there was the driving geometry of this car is just, I don't know, they just perfected it to a point where it doesn't even make sense when you think about it from a physics standpoint. You know, you're looking at engine all the way in the back, light front end, how does it work? But man, when I tell people what it's like to drive a Porsche, I just say, imagine a car that never understeers, and if you feel like you're going too fast for a corner and it starts understeering, let off the throttle and all the weight goes over the front tires. It gets you that grip, and then get back on it slowly, and boom, you're back in it again, and it just like whips you around the corner. This car also has rear wheel steering, so the rear wheel steering also helps too. My previous generation car also had the rear wheel steering, so it's not like, you know, this is new to the RS. Overall, this is a review on the first drive. I got it off the trailer, I took it down PCH. I just wanted to get familiar with the car real quick, threw the camera on, and oh my gosh, it just feels so good being in here, and it feels so good being back in a bucket seat. And this car gets you excited, you know, it gets you excited to drive. When you see that rear wing in your rear view mirror, you're kind of like, you know, this car is going to do some business, and you know it's going to do it well. And if you've ever been behind a GT3RS on a track or in an aggressive driving situation, whether if it's a canyon, whatever the case may be, if you're ever behind one of these cars and you look at how they kind of dance through the corners, they don't necessarily like, they have zero body roll. This is a brand that has no idea what body roll is. And when you look at a car, when you look at one of these driving through canyons, it's like this weird feeling where it's like the car doesn't seem like it's going fast, and it just does it so elegant and smoothly. And I think that's what Porsche has really perfected. It's like, I describe it as, you know, driving or riding a motorcycle, where it's enjoyable at all speeds, fast, slow, in the middle, and you can take it for a spirited drive and feel good and confident, and it gives you confidence as a driver, and it makes you respect the car too, because it's not a car to be played with either, in the sense of, you know, these things will step out on you if you're not careful, with traction on or off, depending on how experienced of a driver you are. And it's important, you know, with cars like these, I feel like, you know, to have respect for the car, because, you know, with cars that are more powerful, more aggressive, push you to the edge as a driver, because this car will push you to the edge as a driver before it pushes its edge for the car's actual true capability. And I think that's one thing that you have to really be careful on, is that you have to really respect it in that regard, because it will push you farther as a driver than it will for the capability and the physics of the car. And that's where, you know, people get a little cocky. For me, it's just, I just enjoy the car, you know, for what it is, and I respect it. And I think I'm gonna, you know, have a lot of fun with this car. And this is my dream spec. This is how I've always wanted it. This is how I always thought of it. So people say like, oh my gosh, I bought my dream car or something like this. This is really like buying the dream car. And you know, I'm blessed to be able to do it. I'm blessed to be able to work hard and be happy and healthy, even though I got a little runny nose right now. But I'm happy to be able to do it, and I'm happy that I worked hard, and I'm happy that I didn't give up on my dreams and myself and who I was as a person, and I never lost sight of that. And you know, if you want to buy one of these cars, it's totally attainable, you know, and it's totally possible. You don't have to be making millions of dollars a year, and you don't have to be, you know, like, you know, you don't have to be a CEO of a company or etc. Like, you know, if you budget yourself and you're smart with your money for a couple of years, you make some good investments, whether if it's in stocks with your extra money, etc., and you wait a couple of years for them to pan out, and you know, you live below your means, you can do it. You know, I'm single, no wife, no kids, so for me it's not, you know, it's just me. So I understand if you're in other situations, but all I'm saying is anything's possible if you set a plan to achieve the goal. Without a plan to achieve the goal, you're never going to achieve it. So, and that's one thing I learned in life. It's small steps, small actions performed at a very, very high level, at 100% effort. Small steps lead you to the thing. and lead you to the end goal and lead you to where you want to be in life. And I think that's important to understand, because it's so easy to get caught up in somebody. Look at this. I'm in this car and a Bugatti drives by. It's so easy to get caught up in, oh, my car's not good enough for this or that. It's so easy to get caught up in that life anywhere you live, especially in Southern California. And it's so easy to get caught up in that. And I always say, comparison is the thief of joy. You will never be happy if you aren't happy with what you have now. Somebody will always have more and somebody will always have less. So I never look at things that way, and I think that's been able to keep my sanity. I'm not saying I haven't thought about things like that on an occasion here and there. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying sometimes you need a quick reminder when it comes to things like this. Because at the end of the day, this is just a material item. But if this material item makes you work harder, makes you be a better person, makes you achieve your dreams, makes you get out of a shitty scenario in life, then more power to you. You know, that's because it's kind of what it did for me. But the most important thing about this, and my most favorite thing to do, is letting other people drive the car, letting other people experience it, letting other people get on board and have a fun time, and seeing them laugh and smile and like, oh my gosh, this car is so crazy. That's more exciting to me. The experience this car brings, more so than what the car just represents in just like a materialistic standpoint. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. This was just a first drive kind of review, and I will do a true first like canyon drive review when I get into the canyons, review the car from a handling standpoint. I really want to take this car out to thermal this year, really get it out onto a track environment to really, you know, put it through its paces. So stay tuned for that. I look forward to it. But we will leave you with some 4-liter music before this little thing ends. Let's leave you with some 4-liter soundtrack. Woo! Let's do it one more time with the windows up. A little 4-liter soundtrack never hurt anybody. And that's a GT3RS. Thanks for watching.